Hi everyone. Today I'll be presenting my analysis of Zheng Qinwen, a rising Chinese tennis star, and her performance in 2024. This project aims to understand her strength and identify areas for improvement to optimize her future success. Zheng Qinwen is a top Chinese tennis player. She's only 22 years old and already stepped into the top 10 ranking in the world. She is currently ranked number 5. At the beginning of the year, Zheng made a career best achievement, making it to the final of the Australian Open. In the 2024 Olympic Summer Games, she got the single gold medal for China, and she became super popular in China. A great number of the population started playing tennis because of her influence. This analysis aims to answer two questions: what makes Zheng great, and what aspects of her game need to improvement. By examining her strengths and weaknesses, I'll provide recommendations for her continued growth. Analysis relies on data from official WTA websites and tennisabstract.com. The key metrics include serve statistics, return performance, match results, head-to-head records, and service performance over the past 52 weeks. The dataset also includes comprehensive statistics for the top 20 players, allowing us to benchmark Zheng's performance against other players. As of December 4th, 2024, Qinwen Zheng is ranked number 5 in the WTA top 10. This slide shows her position compared to the other top players. First, let's look at what Zheng is doing great. As we can see from this stats and chart, Zheng's serve aces are extremely impressive. Zheng has 445 aces in 2024, far ahead of other players. Even the second-place Rabakina has only 358, and the world number 8 Navarro has only 83. If Zheng can maintain this top level of serving aces, it will give her a huge advantage for the 2025 season. As anyone who has watched Zheng play knows, she has a very powerful and dominating serve, as can be seen from her ace numbers. Thereby, we also get a relatively high number of service game wins. However, we can still see room for improvements here. What's interesting is that Iga is not a dominant player on the serve, but she has the highest percentage of service game wins, higher than the strongest servers, Sabalenka, Rybakina, and Zheng. We need to look at more data in order to in other aspects of service game to further determine what exactly Zheng needs to improve in her service game. When comparing Zheng's service game stats with the top 5 players, her service games have the highest on-return percentage, which means she won the points either by ace or return. Zheng's powerful serve is giving her a lot of free points. However, when we analyzing points that go beyond 3 shots, her win percentage is lower compared to the other players. The last 3 bar chart shows the winning percentage for every return in play. Zheng now has the lowest winning percentage. It is clear to see when there are more rallies in play, the less chance Zheng has of winning the points. Therefore, we can conclude that Zheng did not make the best use of her serve in controlling the points after serving, which is something she should focus on later practice. Here is something else that Zheng needs to improve. How effective of the second serve return is another very important fact in winning a match. The majority of female players don't have a dominant second serve, so it is very important to make the best use of the opponent's second serve. This bar plot shows that Zheng is almost the second worst return points winning percentage compared to the top 10 players, and it is definitely something she needs to work on in order to know how she typically loses the second return points. We need to know how she typically make the mistakes. She made the most on the second return, whether it's an unforced error, meaning being too aggressive, or being too defensive, giving the dominance to the opponent. The first table on the left is the percentage of second serve put in play among the top 5 players. Zheng's consistency returning second serve is about in the middle, and what is interesting is that Zheng has the highest return winner percentage on the second serve is in the middle table, which means the opponent could not even touch the ball. Based on those results, I could conclude that Zheng has a very aggressive second serve return, and many times she would aim for a winner. Even though I don't have data for the unforced error percentage, it is still a fact that the more winner you're trying to hit, and the more mistakes you will make, which is a positive correlation. Thus, an assumption would be that Zheng has a relatively high percentage of missing the second return when trying to be too offensive. The last table here on the right shows that the return depth index for the second serve, Zheng is the last one among the top 5, which would be something that she also needs to do work on. Another important feature to look at was the number of double faults. Although we did admit that Zheng absolutely has a great serve while looking at the number of aces. Meanwhile, she also scored high in the number of double faults. As shown in the plot below, she ranked top 3 in the number of double faults, which is not a good trend. Thus, another thing for Zheng to pay more attention for the next year would be maintaining the same first serve quality and increasing the consistency in the second serve. And Zheng's winning rate against the top 10 players is only 38%, which is lower compared to the other players like Sabalenka and Iga consistently achieve over 65% win rate against the top 10. This indicates that while Zheng can dominate against lower-ranked players, she struggles to maintain the same level of success against the higher-ranking opponents. Now, when we compare Zheng's winning in different rally points, we can also see that her stats are behind the current top 2 players in the world, Sabalenka and Iga, and as the number of rallies increase, there is actually a big gap between Zheng and those 2 players in points above 10 rallies. This also means that Zheng is very proactive and powerful style of play that doesn't really have an advantage in long rally points. Finally, there are 3 different types of surfaces in tennis. It's also important to know what's her strongest and weakest surface to make better choices of the number and the level of tournaments choices for the next year. From this pie chart, we can see that Zheng has a better winning percentage on clay courts, and she did not win many matches on grass. And also the grass season is the shortest compared to the other 2, so I would recommend Zheng's team to consider playing at bigger tournaments during the clay season to get more points. And to summarize, Zheng Qinwen has a powerful serve and excel on clay courts, but her weaknesses include rally performance, second serve return consistency, and a high number of double faults. Here are some tactics improvements. I would recommend to focus on long rally winning percentage, balance aggressiveness with control during extended rallies, develop shot patterns to effectively control points after the serve, and also refine second serve return strategy, like analyze errors during second serve returns to reduce unforced errors, and practice aiming for deeper returns to increase the return depth index. For future work, I expect to incorporate predictive modeling to make predictions about her potential performance in Grand Slams. I'm also looking forward to exploring Zheng's physical and mental performance metrics, such as fatigue, pressure management, and training load, which are crucial factors to consider when analyzing performance at high levels.